I will tell you, you're not going to have a war with me, and you're not going to have a third world war with me. That I can tell you. I will tell you, you're not going to have a war with me, and you're not going to have a third world war with me. That I can tell you.
Okay? Now the question then is, what can he do to ensure that he wins in 2028? And the easiest answer is, over the next 2-3 years, start a war with Iran. The reason why this is important is that by starting a war with Iran, he wins over the deep state, right? He wins over the Israel lobby. He wins over the military-industrial complex. He wins over a lot of the elite on his side. Now, we discussed that America cannot possibly win a war against Iran. There's going to be a group of people who are doing anything they can to ensure that this war continues. And who are they? Within America. There's a group of people who are the most pro-empire of everyone else. And they fight a war, they want to win the war. And they'll do anything they can to ensure that this war is won. And who are they? Which part of the military? Special forces. Okay? In 2028, if there's a war in Iran and Trump is running again to maintain the war, I guarantee you, these guys and other deep state members will come in and commit acts of terrorism, acts of political assassination to ensure that Trump wins, okay?
I'm sure you've seen those cute memes where they joke about Russian or Chinese forces parachuting into America and not realizing all the trouble they've gotten into. And although I'm not going to spoil the fun, I think it's really important to explain to people what war is really like. We're making a lot of jokes about World War III as if we're so tough that no one can mess with us. Except we've been losing World War III for about 15 years. What people fail to understand in modern war is that long before it goes hot and you see conventional weapons falling out of the sky and Russian paratroopers invading local neighborhoods in the United States, there will be silent weapons for the silent war leading up to that hot conflict. Cyber and psychological warfare, biological and chemical attack, and the destruction of critical logistics and infrastructure. Did you notice that a majority of Americans are losing their minds? That instead of people simply LARPing Dungeons and Dragons in a field, we're doing it in real life? That our morals are gone and our philosophies are upside down? That didn't happen on accident. That was an act of war. And although I can't discuss too much about the banning of the pew-pew things, wouldn't it be convenient for other countries trying to invade this one if no one was allowed to have one of those? Folks, this is Rome, and the barbarians have already invaded. They're everywhere. They're in the universities. They're in our politics. If you had even a remote understanding of the amount of sleeper agents that are already embedded in every single aspect of our society and government, you wouldn't be able to sleep at night. It's over. Like, America's over. If you see the Russians and Chinese paratrooping into the United States, there's already been an EMP blast, and you have no way of understanding what time it is, let alone how to defend against a paratrooper attack. It will be devastating. It will be ugly. It'll be terrifying. You'll see things in the sky you can't comprehend. You won't be able to distinguish reality from illusion. And before you can pump some lead out of that neutered 9-round magazine they allow you to have, you'll already be good as unalived from a phosphine gas attack or a DEW that blows up your car. Before you decide to believe that this is going to be some heroic and adventurous war where America reigns supreme, I want you to go watch a couple documentaries on World War I and World War II. And then I want you to combine the suffering and tragedy and terrifying circumstances and multiply it by 1,000. Every single UFO you've ever seen is advanced aviation equipment. You can't even fathom the type of technology they have. It's beyond comprehension, the devastation that will come if World War III starts.
Can the United States survive a full-scale invasion? The short answer is yes, because invading it is nearly impossible. America's greatest defense isn't just its military, but its geography. To even reach U.S. soil, an enemy would have to cross either the Atlantic or the Pacific Ocean, the two largest bodies of water on Earth, while being hunted by the world's most powerful navy. For comparison, the largest invasion in history, D-Day, required crossing only 20 miles of water. Invading the U.S. would mean traveling 3,000 to 5,000 miles of open ocean. Even if an enemy somehow landed, the terrain becomes the next obstacle. From the east, they face the Appalachian Mountains. From the west, The Rockies, vast deserts, and extreme distances. Moving troops and armor through this landscape would be a logistical nightmare. Finally, there is the population. The United States has more civilian-owned firearms than people, over 400 million. As a Japanese admiral once said, invading America would mean facing a rifle behind every blade of grass.
World War III Predictions, Volume 3. America will be invaded. I said that Russia would win in Ukraine and that the most important success of that war for them was to drain our resources, which they did. I told you that South America would turn on the US and start allowing our enemies entry into their ports and start building up resources, soldiers, and more. And remember that I said 9 months ago that Israel would become the prime target of the Eastern powers, and that Russia and China would find their path to Israel through their allies in Eastern Europe and the Middle East, which they've done. So what's next on the table? Folks, there was a lot of people who were in absolute denial when I made those first prediction videos, saying that America is so powerful they could never be defeated. They're like one in like 187 or 192 countries, and 80% of the countries absolutely can't stand our guts because we've become a global terror. America is Babylon. We've done absolutely dreadful things. Just in the past, 20 years, we've killed millions of innocent civilians for imperialistic and colonialistic goals.
Every American sitting at home right now needs to realize that you are paying for a genocide.
Rise up! Rise up, America! Rise up! It is time to take back this country from these corrupt politicians. It is time. It is beyond time. We're going out to the loaded dock. Thank you for your service.
America doesn't know it, but we're in the middle of WW3 right now. We're going through it right now. And, it almost seems like a WAR is not fought like this. But it is. It is. Everybody wants what America has and has been. They realize that's the road to riches. And what fuels this country is a diversity and the willingness of people to come from all over the world and walks of life and come here in search of success. That's also what fuels the economy. And they know that most countries know that if they're going to be a world-class economy, they have to have that freedom of movement and freedom of acceptance of other people. So in order to defeat us, what they've done is brought out our underbelly, using our own people to defeat us, using our own people to take away rights, using their own racist proclivities. It's masterful. It's a masterful plan. Really, it really is, when you really think about it. Because we can see what's going on right now in our country. And you can see it being brought down and what's actually bringing it down. It's almost amazing that this is the way this country will be defeated. But there's no way that militarily this country can be defeated, just simply with the way where it lies. It's almost impossible to attack. And the people that are here are not people that you can just roll over and take out. So how would you attack it without ruining your own country or ruining the whole world? You attack it from within. You allow the people that was here, the ones that was under rocks and were just accepting of this globalization of this economy, you allow them to come up, peek their head out, and ruin it. And literally ruin it from within, rotten from within. And see, America has made so many strides since the 60s, become a great nation economically, business-wise, but it had an underbelly. The one weakness. The one weakness that we had, and it's being exploited right now because they want that piece of the pie, because that's the only way you get to the type of success that this country has garnered for itself.
A short time ago, the United States military began major combat operations in Iran. Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime.
The Iranians are now reporting that the Ayatollah, the supreme leader, is dead. They're saying that he was martyred in U.S. attacks. So this is the first time that they are acknowledging that the U.S. and Israeli strikes on Iran killed the supreme leader. They had been denying it before. Donald Trump said he was dead. Now Iranian state TV is confirming it.
Over the past 36 hours, the United States and its partners have launched Operation Epic Fury, one of the largest, most complex, most overwhelming military offensives the world has ever seen. Iran's formerly supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, is dead. This wretched and vile man had the blood of hundreds and even thousands of Americans on his hands and was responsible for the slaughter of countless thousands of innocent people all across many countries. Combat operations continue at this time in full force, and they will continue until all of our objectives are achieved. We have very strong objectives. I once again urge the Revolutionary Guard, the Iranian military, and police to lay down your arms and receive full immunity or face certain death. It will be certain death. Won't be pretty. I call upon all Iranian patriots who yearn for freedom to seize this moment, to be brave, be bold, be heroic, and take back your country. America is with you.
خونه رو برای چی زن؟ کجا رو زدن؟ بیت یا همه
After bombing an elementary school in Iran and killing 51 little girls, he says that some of you may get sent your children's remains home in flag-covered coffins, but that's a sacrifice he's willing to make.
The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost, and we may have casualties. That often happens in war.
Now, while the rest of us were sleeping, the U.S. and Israel launched an attack on Iran, bombing multiple residential buildings in Iran in an operation the U.S. is calling Operation Epic Fury. One of the targets was an elementary school. The United States and Israel bombed a girls' elementary school in southern Iran, and this strike killed at least 50 children and injured more than 41 other people. The school was a direct target. There are also casualties in other heavily populated residential areas in Iran. Now, in response, Iran has been targeting U.S. military bases and installations in countries like Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, UAE, and more. They are promising to defend the sovereignty of their country and have launched an unprecedented retaliation campaign. Iran's foreign minister took to Twitter to say, quote, Trump has turned America first into Israel first, which means America last, end quote. A televised statement from Iran's supreme leader is expected soon, and Netanyahu's plane and his family are being moved to avoid retaliation for something that was ordered by Israel in the U.S. Now, Iran's people were also targeted, but they remain safe. Sirens in occupied Palestine are going off as Iran is responding to this aggression. Now, this is the second time the U.S. bombed Iran in the middle of negotiations, the second time. Actions to demand no war with Iran are taking place across the country.
This is urgent. We just learned that Donald Trump is going to rapidly increase the amount of attacks against Iran over the next 24 hours. This is from CNN's Jim Sciutto. He says the U.S. is preparing for a, quote, major uptick in attacks on Iran over the next 24 hours, according to a senior U.S. official. The U.S. has assessed that the first round of attacks has achieved the goal of weakening Iranian defenses, and the next phase will heavily focus on destroying the country's missile production, unmanned aerial vehicles, and naval capability. Donald Trump also said earlier today that we haven't even started hitting them hard yet. The big wave is coming soon. This comes after the U.S. Embassy in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia was attacked earlier tonight by 2 Iranian drones, and thankfully, the ministry said that there was limited fire and minor material damage to the building, and so far, no injuries, which is great. Donald Trump just told News Nation that you'll, quote, find out soon what the retaliation will be in response to the embassy being attacked.
I don't get bored. There's nothing boring about this. We're already substantially ahead of our time projections, but whatever the time is, it's okay. Whatever it takes, we will always, and we have right from the beginning, we projected 4 to 5 weeks, but we have capability to go far longer than that. We'll do it. Whatever somebody said today, they said, oh, well, the president wants to do it really quickly. After that, he'll get bored. I don't get bored. There's nothing boring about this. Do you agree with that, Pete? I don't think there's anything, Mr. General. I think there's nothing boring about it. Somebody actually said from the media, I think he'll get bored after about a week or two. No, we don't get bored. I never get bored. If I got bored, I wouldn't be standing here right now. I guarantee you that.
Iran will not negotiate with the United States. It's exactly what's coming out of the Islamic Republic right now. This is as the Kuwaiti Air Force has accidentally shot down an American F-15. Pilot ejected safely with minor injuries. The Pentagon is due to brief Congress today. Republicans and Democrats are demanding legal justification for the war in Iran. This is as the Make America Great Again movement seems to be turning on Donald Trump. All of them are saying, you promised no more wars, no more foreign wars, no more being the world police. And he lied. First thing this man did when he got back into power was take the president of Venezuela and then start a war with Iran. Donald Trump never had any intention of peace. He came to power with these actions in mind. And this is how we unite the country again. Americans need to start understanding that Donald Trump has tricked a lot of people. People who voted for Donald Trump largely did not vote for this. Donald Trump will have to show an imminent threat to Congress, and he will have to prove it. If he doesn't prove an imminent threat from Iran, I can see Republicans voting for impeachment. Yes, Iranian weapons were used against Americans in the Iraq War. And yes, Iran poses a significant national security threat. But without a vote from Congress, it appears that Donald Trump has deviated from the Constitution of the United States. We must keep to the Constitution, because without the Constitution, there is no freedom.
President Trump has begun World War III, and it is not against the world. It is against America itself and America's allies. The moment the man got into the presidency, he began attacking the nation. He did so by attacking the workforce, first and foremost, starting from the base. Every industrialized nation depends on low-wage, legal immigrants to do the hard work. A lot of them are illegal. That's a reality. It's not slave labor. They're making some form of money. Is it fair? I don't know. I'm not the judge. Is it reality? And is it how you get a lot of the things that you want in life with ease and affordability? Yes. We need illegal laborers from Central and South America, whether we admit it or not. And the minute we don't have them, things go haywire. Women's rights have been attacked. Our allies have been attacked. Our military has been used, basically, to show off. Is there a war against some sort of real foe? No.
Do you believe that the war in Iran is the catalyst to start World War III or the end times?
I do. Yeah. I do. And I think that that's why they do it. I think that the people in the Pentagon know that this war in Iran, it'll be a disaster because America is not ready for a war. Mm-hmm. To fight a war, you need, first of all, you need manufacturing capacity, right? You need to be able to produce bullets and tanks and planes. And America offshored its manufacturing capacity to China. There's no way that China is going to produce tanks and bullets for the American military, right? Okay, so that's issue number one, manufacturing capacity. Number two is political will. And the reality is that American people don't understand why America would start a war in Iran. And Americans have no ill feelings towards Iranians, okay?
Just so that we're all on the same page here, if Donald Trump brings the United States into a war, we're going to lose. And this possibility is looking realer than ever with his threats to use our military to annex Greenland. And I'm telling you right now, if we go into a war, it will be a world war. It will be World War III. I'm not exaggerating. This isn't a metaphor. And you may be thinking to yourself, but we have the largest military in the world. That's not possible. Okay, but here's what you don't understand. We are fifth in the number of enlisted in the world, the number of military enlisted. And second of all, it is very difficult to convince soldiers and people in the military to die for a cause that they don't believe in. If you just arbitrarily start a war, you are going to face a lot of power struggles and internal issues within the military. People will be fleeing the United States. People will be deserting the military. This is not something that the United States has a real chance of winning. And furthermore, we have no allies. We've turned our backs on every single ally. And even right now as we speak, other countries are forming alliances without the United States in preparation for war against us. And really, who's going to come to our aid? Not Canada. Not Mexico. El Salvador is going to come save the day? I think not. I guess we should start getting our cans together, or it's time to get out.
Meanwhile, this evening, Reuters is reporting that an Iranian strike has caused a fire to break out at the United States Embassy in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. And at the same time, the United States State Department has issued an urgent warning to Americans in the following countries to leave immediately via commercial means: Bahrain, Egypt, Iran, Iraq, Israel, the West Bank and Gaza, Jordan, Kuwait, Lebanon, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Syria, UAE, and Yemen. Only problem with all of these countries are many of the airports remain closed, and the ones that have opened up, like at the UAE, for example, in the Dubai airport, it's limited operation. So I'm not sure how the State Department wants Americans to get out.
I'm trapped in Dubai. I came out here to celebrate my 30th birthday with one of my good friends, and everything just went left. As y'all can tell, CNN has been our best friend. A lot of different countries are like taking care of their citizens, but unfortunately, we're from the U.S. We started this war, so if you guys know anybody that's like in Dubai, please like try to refrain from like sending them like posts right now, or just kind of being a little bit, I would like to say, insensitive, because we're really trying to keep our spirits up the best way we can. We've heard bombs from our rooms. My friend was downstairs at the beach the first day this all happened, and she actually seen a missile fly over her head. And we're from the U.S., so this is like very different for us. And, you know, it gets really emotional when you think about like your family's 9,000 miles away, and they're not letting people in, and we can't leave. So it's like,
we just got this message here in Israel from the embassy. It reads, I'm quoting here, "The U.S. Embassy is not in a position at this time to evacuate or directly assist Americans in departing Israel." Those are the words from the ambassador, Mike Huckabee, and frankly, they're consistent with what Americans are hearing across this region. You know, we all were alerted in 14 countries last night to leave immediately. People were told on their own using commercial options, which is simply an incredible irony given that in almost all of the countries listed, there are no commercial options to leave right now. And in fact, in 6 of them, there isn't even a confirmed sitting U.S. ambassador, including in Saudi Arabia, where the massively fortified embassy has been hit. It's a stunning situation, and I was struck by the words of the general who's currently stuck in Dubai. He formerly commanded the base in Kuwait, such an important base. I've been through there on my way to Afghanistan to report a story, and he was simply shocked by the situation, saying,
"It's a little bit disheartening and a little bit envious to hear that the BBC has announced that the UK government is actually arranging transport for the British citizens to be able to extract them, whereas here for us as Americans, we feel abandoned."
Learn your world map. I'm going to give you a crash course now, but after this video, go study. You're going to need it in the coming weeks, months, and God forbid, years. Here's the deal. We started this attack. Israel and the United States started the attacks on Iran however many hours ago, 30-something, 40-something hours ago, okay? And Israel and Iran have been fighting back and forth. So I took some liberties with this, but all these little red dots are places that were struck, and the same for Israel. Again, I have a fat finger on my little phone, so just imagine lots of attacks. Those are not necessarily the exact places, but Iran and Israel have both experienced missile strikes as well as other areas, but I'm focusing on those two. We got reports about an hour ago that Iran has now struck this tiny little island known as Cyprus. And just so we are clear, Cyprus is not part of the Middle East. It is part of Europe. And now we have begun this sort of shift, I guess, northwest-ish, and into Europe. So that is not good. Here's where things get a little bit more complex, but stay with me. We're going to be fine, okay? This island nation of Cyprus, again, was struck by Iran, and that reporting came in about an hour or two ago at this point. Cyprus is an island nation that is part of Europe, okay? So Cyprus is the first nation in this war that is part of Europe that has now been struck, ultimately dragging another continent into this. Cyprus is a weird place to attack, yes? No, because you have to ask yourself, what was struck in Cyprus? Well, in Cyprus is an Air Force base that belongs to the United Kingdom. Yes, that's right. Iranians struck the Air Force base belonging to the Royal British Air Force, I hope I'm saying that in the correct order, and therefore has committed an act of war against the United Kingdom. Now we got to talk about NATO, so ignore the map for a second. NATO is the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, and it was formed post-World War II to stop anything like that from ever happening again. Hee hee ha ha at this point. Hello. Anyways, so as part of NATO, the United Kingdom has an alliance, an agreement with all of these other countries underlined in red. They're all part of NATO and more. There are more. I'm just pointing some out, okay? Now, if you look at the articles, the rules within NATO, you will find Article 5. And Article 5 states that an attack against one of us is an attack against all of us. So by striking the Air Force base in Cyprus, Iran has now committed an act of war against the UK, which is part of NATO, which now involves all of these other nations that are part of NATO.
I'm not trying to fearmonger. I am just presenting the news. This is officially a world war. I wouldn't freak out. I would just keep going about your life and pay attention to the news and care about the things that are happening, be outraged about people, innocent people dying.
That's the FaceTime with my cousin in Iran, and she asked me to share this message with the world, especially you diaspora, so please listen to the full video. For those who don't know, 95% of my family still lives in Iran. My mother's side is Mashhadi. She told me this, that every single person she knows has lost someone close to them. In Mashhad, bodies were piled in the streets, wrapped like black garbage bags, the way trash lines city sidewalks in New York. She said her mother's apartment building had bodies reaching all the way up to her doorstep. Someone we know was shot multiple times in the leg. He couldn't go to the hospital to seek medical help. People are terrified to go because they're killing them. So their family pooled nearly $2,000 to pay for a private doctor to come to their house so he wouldn't lose his leg. Most people can't even afford that. They're afraid to go seek help. They're getting infections and they're slowly dying in their homes. Phone lines, as we know, are being monitored. So families are writing messages on paper and holding them up to the camera when they can FaceTime. She said the internet is turned on briefly as an act of surveillance to track and hunt protesters. She says what's happening is just unimaginable. People are being killed so easily. My mother also spoke to a female family member of ours in Tehran today, and she said, we're fine, but we're all beaten. They beat the shit out of all of us. That viral video of a woman being kicked in the head that's been going around, that's just one leaked clip of what's happening every single day. Most stores are closed except for basic necessities. Prices were already inflated. She says they've tripled in the last 2 weeks. Many Gen Z Iranians rely on online businesses, importing and exporting goods from Turkey and Dubai. She says no one's been able to make money this year. People have nothing left. And despite all of this grief, despite all of this, she said something else to me. She said, don't cry. Negaran nabash. Don't worry. Omidvar bash. Don't lose hope. She said hope, omid, is all we have left. And if the diaspora gives up hope, cosmically it's putting negative energy and darkness into the world. She said people want intervention because without it we will die. We are watching a real life Handmaid's Tale. The numbers coming out daily keep increasing in the tens of thousands who have been murdered. This is devastating. This is a massacre. And if this becomes normalized in Iran, if we look away, it won't stop there. It will spread. So please keep speaking up. Please keep putting pressure on world leaders to act now. She said, Aziz kheli az dast dadim. We've lost a lot of loved ones, and the only way they will ever find peace in their hearts again is if this regime is gone. And she also said this too. When they do manage to get a few moments online and they see all of your messages and voices, they feel less lonely. And that gives them hope.
We bombed Iran on behalf of Israel. Yes, it was on behalf of Israel. We're entering a nuclear war, the World War III, because the entire world is going to erupt. And you want to know the people that are cheering it on right now? Their tune is going to drastically change the minute we start seeing flag-draped coffins on the nightly news, on Fox News that brainwashes all the baby boomers, and on CNN that brainwashes all the Democrat baby boomers. And that is exactly how this is going to go down.
Iran is going to hit us back. And they're going to hit us back hard. And I don't think people quite understand exactly what that means, so I'm going to do my best to spell it out here. And I want you to know that this is not intended to fearmonger, it's intended to educate. So keep that in mind. When the supreme leader, the Ayatollah, was murdered today, and quite frankly, not a good person, it was okay to put him in the dirt. But the way we went about it, and the way that we also bombed a girls' school in South Iran, an all-girls school, you've kicked a hornet's nest, okay? You maybe killed the queen when you kicked the hornet's nest, for sure. But you still have an entire swarm of hornets. There is still an entire regime within Iran that wanted the Ayatollah alive, that followed the Ayatollah, that wants that way of life, that hates America, death to America. And so we may continue these bombardments. We will. We've already seen them strike back and hit a U.S. base in Bahrain. We will see U.S. casualties. And it's not far-fetched to say that there is probably and likely some cells here in the United States of Iranian soldiers. Now, that doesn't mean you go around fearing anybody from the Middle East. That's not at all what that means. But I want you to be aware that the same as we operate in clandestine ways across the globe, other countries do the same thing. And we would be naive to believe that they don't. I'm terrified. I don't say that often. I'm scared. This has the potential to be globally catastrophic.
No one knows the amount of shock that will happen when the bombs are dropped. I can almost feel it. there will be disbelief. And then people will try to find out who did what and why. Waste of time. And then they will scramble. I don't recommend that. I recommend staying in place, sheltered. With prep supplies, I hope. I hate to say it, but it's the wake-up call we all need. We have lived so free from any kind of conflict like that. The civil issues that we're having right now are nothing. Absolutely nothing compared to a bomb being dropped on our soil. "9/11 is a cakewalk. So's COVID. COVID was a social experiment, by the way. Yes. There was a disease, but certain people just watched to see what would happen. So, prep.
Your girl is not a negative Nancy. I'm going to tell you everything that's about to happen in the order of sequence, okay? Since the beginning of this year, our president and government officials have been telling America to basically get prepared for war on your soil. In the Bible, here's how it describes nuclear war starting. You're going to hear the wings of so many thousands of grasshoppers at one time. They didn't have the terminology that we have now, but you're going to hear a whole bunch of choppers and airplanes over your head getting ready to drop artillery on you. It says the day is going to come up on you and you're going to be unaware. You're distracted. We're heavily distracted than we've ever been. This is a great time to tap into your Bibles right now. If you didn't believe, maybe you should. I don't know. Don't fear the person who can off the body. Fear the person who can off the soul, baby. They can't touch your soul. They can only touch your body. Basically, God said it's getting prepared to transition into a different world. Revelations tell you you shouldn't be popping P word and popping D word. This is not the time to have children, okay? Because nuclear war is going to be so bad, everybody all over the world at the same time who is still alive are going to be begging for world peace. The governments are going to come together, okay? A week ago or a couple days ago, they had the World Summit and basically said, out with that old shit, we bringing in this new shit. You already know what that means. They're already ready to make their move. Everybody came together and already made their decision, so it's about to happen. You think that man got ice out here on these streets for no reason? He's trying to get as many sleeper cells out as he can before shit hit the fan. And even if you're an American citizen and you get hit in his way, you can get out or you can get offed. It don't matter. Nuclear war is going to be so bad that the elite are going to go underground because it describes it in the Bible. And the mountains are going to cave in on them. How would the mountains cave in on them? Nuclear war is going to be so bad, it's going to cause massive earthquakes and possible tsunamis, and the mountains are going to fall on the elites. I don't care how deep it is underground. That's how serious it's going to be. You can't imagine being in the mall and somebody starts Swiss cheesing you. You don't know where it's coming from. You can't imagine being in the grocery store, your cashier starts Swiss cheesing you. You can't imagine your kids being on the playground and other kids start Swiss cheesing your kids. You can't imagine that. You can't imagine being on an airplane and somebody sitting next to you start Swiss cheesing the whole plane, or either your pilot take you down. You can't imagine. If you think you just finna stay inside and go to sleep, it's not finna happen. People finna run up in your house.
So earlier today, there was a shooting at a bar in Austin, Texas, where 3 people were killed and 14 people were injured. And I first want to offer my condolences because this country is never going to do away with their guns. And of course, we can't have these stories of violence in the United States without having some kind of whimsical story to attach to it. The Associated Press reported that not only did the suspect in this shooting wear a shirt that said "Property of Allah," but another shirt with an Iranian flag on it. Oh yes, and also the man who allegedly carried out this shooting was a naturalized citizen from Senegal. It reminds me of the story of the supposed Muslim man who plowed through a crowd of people in New Orleans, who came from a community in Texas where the people had never seen him before, and his apartment looked like a staged Airbnb and had kufiyas just magically aligned in his closet as soon as you walked in. Or the Afghani national who just so happens to think it would be befitting to shoot National Guardsmen just a stone's throw away from the White House. And these are the moments where I feel like our faces are being played in, because let me be very clear when I say this. We are in the month of Ramadan, and if they are claiming that this man was a Muslim, Muslims do not play about this month and do not do anything to jeopardize the potential of not receiving the rewards that are supposed to be obtained by observing this month. Ramadan is not just abstaining from eating, and it is literally a part of our 5 pillars that are required to even make you a Muslim to begin with. And in addition to that, I have never met an African from not a near country on the continent of Africa who fled their homeland to come to the United States to become an extremist. It is sad that people are continuously losing their lives so that the powers that be can continue to deeply marginalize certain groups of people even further.
Because what's going on right now in that other country could very well affect our everyday lives right here in the United States. Don't ever think just because we're not over in Iran that this won't affect us. We don't know what's going to happen in the next 24 to 48 hours. That's why I said, when you see something fall out the sky, don't be too quick to think that it's rain, snow, or a meteor shower, guys, because there could be other things falling out the sky. We don't know what these people have planned. The United States always brag about what they're going to do, who they're going to do it to, when they're going to strike. But these other countries, they remain silent, man. So we don't know what surprise these people got up their sleeve. Only thing I can say, man, is prepare yourself. Most importantly, pray. 2026 could be the end, guys. And I'm dead serious. This could be the end for human life. If this continues to go on, we are talking about nuclear war, nuclear weapons that's involved. Has anybody fired a nuclear weapon yet? No, they haven't. Not that I know of. Can they? Will they? Yes, they could. Anything is possible at this point, man. Again, we don't know what's going to happen, man. I can't even believe it. It's 2026. And we're going from the Epstein files. We don't want from the Diddy situation to the Epstein files to the president saying that he was fully exonerated, to going to another country, snatching a president and his wife out of their compound at 1 or 2 in the morning, bringing them to the United States, to now a war going on in Iran. Guys, all I'm saying is prepare and brace for impact. 2020.
5 steps to surviving a nuclear blast during World War III. Yes, it's possible. That bright flash, don't look at it. It will cause instant blindness. I said don't look at it. What I'm about to tell you is true for 300 to 800 kiloton nukes, the typical yield on modern ICBM missiles. My name's Derek. I'm a professional prepper. Follow for more end-of-the-world wisdom. Number 1, drop and cover. Hit the ground, face down, feet toward the blast, cover your head. Make sure to keep your mouth open so your lungs don't burst from the pressure wave. And remember, don't look at the flash. Number 2, surviving the shock wave. If you're within a mile of ground zero, total destruction, sorry, it was nice knowing you. 3 miles out, buildings collapse, glass becomes shrapnel. It's possible to survive if you're inside or underground, but you gotta act quickly to avoid radiation. 10 miles out, you're still in danger from fallout. You've got about 10 to 30 minutes before it starts falling into the ground as radioactive dust. Step 3, you need to get inside fast, ideally in a basement, subway, fallout shelter. If those aren't options, you need to get into a brick or concrete building. Head to the center of the building. Stay away from windows, stay away from doorways. If you've gotten this far, it's time to shelter in place, ideally for 72 hours. The first 24 hours are the most critical. Stay put, don't go outside trying to play hero, you'll end up dead. Seal up windows if you can, seal up doorways, cut the airflow from the outside in. You want to avoid that radioactive fallout coming into your shelter. Hopefully you have a radio so that you can hear the government tell you when it's safe to go outside. Hopefully there's still an intact government. Hopefully more nukes aren't falling. Step 5, what to do if you must go outside. Hopefully you don't, but let's say your shelter is on fire and you have no choice. Cover your mouth with a mask or a cloth, wear goggles, wear gloves, cover up anything exposed. Travel perpendicular to the wind direction to help avoid radioactive fallout. When you do get back into a shelter, you need to decontaminate, take off your clothes, put them in a bag, throw them outside. Then take a shower, but don't use conditioner because that'll bind the particles to your hair. Hopefully whatever shelter you find yourself in has food, water, and people that aren't tweaking, becoming dangerous to themselves and everyone else. Good luck out there.
5 must-have items you need if the grid goes down. First, most people don't think about how many you'll use, but batteries. You will burn through more batteries than you realize when you do not have power. Having a stockpile of batteries is going to be highly essential. All shapes and sizes of batteries to run lanterns, flashlights, headlamps, all forms of light sources, all the other devices that you think of that use and need batteries. Batteries, batteries, batteries. If you think you have enough batteries, you don't. You need more. Second would be obviously those devices, headlamps, flashlights, lanterns, candles. So any form of light source so you're not blind at night. Third is one that I don't think a lot of people think about, is a spare phone. I've spent years amassing a digital library of survival guides, military field manuals, primitive skills knowledge, just all kinds of different digital assets that I all keep on a spare phone. Obviously, hard copies would be the most ideal situation, but when you're talking about hundreds and hundreds of PDFs, getting them all printed could be upwards of thousands of dollars. Not everyone has books, and some of those they don't even make into books anymore. So I've amassed a digital library. Of course, I do have a lot of them in hard copy because, well, having backups to your backups is important. And I'm sure someone in the comments is going to say, well, your phone's going to be worthless if they drop an EMP. Yeah, that's true. That's why the fourth thing on the list is a Faraday bag to keep your phone in. That way, if it is an EMP type scenario, your phone with all your digital assets won't get fried. And a lot of people, you might not know what a Faraday bag is, but a Faraday bag protects against an electromagnetic pulse so your electronics don't fry. You can get them in all shapes, sizes, and you could even build one big enough to cover your house if you had the resources to do so. Fifth and final thing on the list is a way to charge that phone when the power is out. So something like a solar panel like this. Simple USB inverter on the back of it, plugs right into your phone, keeps that phone charged.
3 simple things I am doing right now to prepare for instability in the US. As the possibility of involvement in a foreign war looms larger and more likely, I just want to be prepared, especially in the case of another country's cyber attack against us, which is a likelihood. In fact, it's so likely that the government created a whole ass agency about it, CISA. I am keeping the gas tanks full because if there were a cyber attack, the pipeline could go down or some other system could go down and we wouldn't be able to get gas. So that is my number 1. Number 2, I'm keeping cash on hand. I'm really bad about that, but if the banking system went down or the systems at the stores couldn't receive information electronically, I can't get anything. So I'm gonna go get some cash. And number 3, I am printing out my medical record. I don't know my doctor's office phone number without looking it up on the internet. I don't have it stored. My prescriptions, all of my diagnoses and treatments and that sort of thing, I'm going to print them out and put them in a binder. And those are just, again, good disaster planning, simple things that we should be doing anyway. And hopefully we never have to use any of them.
Let's say worst case scenario, instability actually unfolds. Retaliation through proxies, oil distribution, global tension rising. What should regular people in America realistically prepare for? Don't panic, just prepare. And this is what I mean by that. First, it's going to be a lot of economic pressure. If oil supply gets disrupted in the Persian Gulf, prices going to go up. We already know that. Gas prices, shipping, groceries, airfare, all that. So preparation actually looks like building up a cash buffer if you can, reducing unnecessary debt exposure, and just try not to overextend yourself assuming stability. Wars don't always hit with bombs over here, but they hit our prices every time. We're going to have to prepare for cyber attacks. Modern retaliation isn't just missile, it's about cyber attacks on infrastructure. Pipelines, hospital, banking systems. The U.S. has dealt with this kind of stuff before, so we got to be prepared for it. So strengthen your passwords, use 2-factor authentication, be cautious with scams, especially ones tied to warheads.
World War III will not look the way you expect. When people talk about World War III, what they're describing is a nuclear holocaust, where one country fires a nuclear weapon and then the other country fires one back, and they go back and forth until there's nothing left of the planet. Or for the billionaires that survived in their bunker, they'd have to completely rebuild society when they came back up, because there'd be a food shortage, nuclear winter, things like that. But World War III would not be nuclear war. Here are the 5 types of fighting that would be used instead. Number 1, cyber warfare. Countries are already hacking power grids, disrupting elections, and stealing data right now. Wars are being fought with code, not nukes. Number 2, economic warfare. Trade wars, economic sanctions, and crushing the value of a country's currency will do enough damage on its own. Number 3, AI and drones. Autonomous weapons are fighting on our behalf, and they often decide who lives or dies at the snap of a finger, faster than humans can react. Number 4, information wars. Deepfakes and misinformation campaigns do way more damage because what they do is they tear a country apart from the inside. No weapons needed. And number 5, space. Knock out a satellite, you can knock out the country's military. Proxy wars would likely continue as well, but if World War III happens, and some people say we're currently already there, it's not going to end in the nuclear holocaust that you expect.
I just want to talk to you about what the is going on in the world, okay? The Epstein media, the Epstein class, the class of billionaire pedophiles that run your lives and ruin your lives and scapegoat immigrants, disabled people, trans people, black and brown people. They are the ones who benefit directly from you being dumb as okay? Stop being lobotomized, bro. Listen to me. In the year of our Lord Charlie Kirk 2026, I'm begging you to stop believing the utter bullshit narrative that the United States has about everything, dude. About Iran being the biggest state sponsor of terror in the world. Day one, they killed 100 little girls. America did. America and Israel, the Epstein axis, murdered 100 little girls, bombed them. Is that what American liberation of women in Iran looks like? Is that what that looks like to you? So all these people saying, free Iran, free Iran. You have been propagandized to believe that the Ayatollah is some mystical evil force like he's Senator Palpatine. Okay? But the reality is that Netanyahu and Trump are closer to that than anybody in this world. You guys want to believe so bad that America is this patriotic bastion of freedom in the world. And that, you know, evil people like China, they're committing genocide on the Uyghur Muslim population in Xinjiang. Dude, America has never in its history gave a fuck about Muslims, and it's never gave a fuck about Chinese people. All of a sudden, though, America suddenly gives a whole big about Chinese Muslims. Think for a second, dude. America has never given a shit about women or Muslims. Now suddenly they give a shit about Muslim women in Iran? Please, give me a break. Okay? America has never cared about Jews. They didn't get into World War II to help save Jewish people. But suddenly their support of the Zionist project is because of their love for Jewish people and their defense against Please, man.
So is the real reason that we went to Venezuela and got Maduro out and shored up their oil supply because we knew we would need all of the help that we could get? Like, that's why we're blockading Cuba, right? And starving them of fuel and energy is so we can keep all the reserves, because we knew we were going to preemptively strike Iran in the coming days, and they would probably send one of their hyperballistic missiles and sink one of our aircraft carriers, which would cause an all-out war in the region, effectively shutting down the Strait of Hormuz, where like a third of our oil supply comes from. Like, that's the real reason for getting Maduro out, right? And getting the Venezuelan oil. And is the real reason that we're sending one of 2 non-functioning naval hospital ships up to Greenland for like some kind of PSYOP or Trojan horse? Or is it to get a large-scale hospital on the way in case World War III effectively breaks out between Russia and China and Iran and the United States? Like, was the Board of Peace really a new allegiance that we were all going to help each other fight this? Seems like that's the path that we're really on. But maybe I'm just a crazy conspiracy theorist. I hope I am. God bless America.
They talking about we at war. Who? Who's at war? Because I'm in the crib. I'm not at war. I'm in the crib. I'm in bed, rubbing my feet together. I don't know what you're talking about. That don't got shit to do with me, promise you. We at war. How when I just paid rent? We can't. You must be misinformed. You clearly ain't get the memo. There can't possibly be a war and I just paid rent.
If you are 18 to 25, you are cooked. You going to World War III. If you are 26 to 39, you are still cooked because the age cap's at 39. You going to World War III. If you have ADHD, you are cooked. You are going to World War III. If you have diabetes, congratulations, you ain't going to World War III. If you've ever been put in a mental facility, congratulations, you are not going to World War III. If you are in college, I'm sorry, you are cooked. They actually want you more for the draft because they want to put you in a specialized position. You are going to World War III. If you have a master's degree, you are cooked. If you dropped out of high school, you are safe from World War III. They don't want you. If you are a felon, you are not going to World War III. Now is the best time to be a felon. If you are LGBTQ, I'm sorry, you are cooked. You are still going to World War III. Now, if you're transitioning, you are safe. You are not going to World War III. If you are your only mother's son, I am sorry, you are cooked. You are going to World War III. If you are a woman, you are only half cooked because men are required to go first, but at any time Congress can change legislation if they need more people. If you have kids, you are going to World War III. But if you're actively pregnant, you are not going to World War III. If you have major depressive disorder or severe anxiety, you got to be able to prove, it got to be documented, or you are cooked. If it's not documented, you going to World War III.
World War III has officially commenced, and this is 10 places you absolutely do not want to be. Number 1, Colorado Springs. Do I even have to explain? Number 2, Manhattan, New York. Do I even have to explain? Number 3.
We have gotten a little relaxed. We have gotten a little lenient. I don't agree with the methods that he was trying to employ because had I been in basic training and somebody put their hands on me, we going toe to toe. I'm about to whoop your ass. You hear me? That being said, I have been in the military for 7 years. World War III is like a very big topic conversation. Right now, I have the feeling in my unit, which is an infantry unit, I just have this feeling that we're prepping for something that's just, I just don't like it, right? I'm going to be honest. I have zero faith in myself as a soldier. I'm a 42 Alpha now. But the minute I got to pick up that mother weapon, now I'm going to save myself, but I don't know about everybody else. I don't know about everybody else. And the people that I have worked closely with for the last 3 to 4 years, God bless America. God bless America, because let me tell you something, common sense ain't that common, and critical thinking it's not that common either, right? And basic courtesy is customs and courtesy. Basic courtesy is not there. Now, I know I could protect myself. I know damn well. It's just that others. God bless America. I'm going to tell you that right now. I don't know.
World War III means it's not funny. It's funny sometimes, but y'all be in the comment section, y'all be tripping, bro. Because y'all be talking about, if I die, can y'all get my TikTok? And can y'all be added to my life insurance? Like, no. Like, why y'all think my life is funny? This is real. I live here. I got 7 more months to be here. Alright? Only been for 4 months. And y'all treating this like it's super funny or something. Like, I can die at any moment right now. At any moment.
You want to know why Gen Z is so unserious about World War III? Because for a fact, we're all saying no. If you are literally someone who wants to go to war, go ahead, be all my guests. But damn well, you're not Gen Z. You're not Gen Z. No. Like, we grew up and watched how y'all treated the veterans. Like, the veterans were wickedly treated bad after they exited the war. And then the fact that we're saying we have these struggles, these pains, these issues, and you're not addressing them, we know you're not serious, so why should we be serious for you?
Hey, Aaron, please don't boom
Us, and by us, I mean the U.S. And with how the world is going right now, now is the time for the aliens to come. You know what I mean? And my concern is not that they're gonna come or not, or if they exist or not, is that will they help? You know what I mean? Because I want to get on that ship. I want to get on that boat. Take me with.
The female will lead to open contact. The male will lead to the termination of the United States and World War III.
Will there ever be a World War III? That is a no. Thank you.
Bashar literally predicted everything that's happening in the United States right now. He said in his channel, the female would lead to open contact, the male will lead to World War III. And he also said the end of the United States. However, I do want to clarify something. He's also stated, and he stated it probably a year and a half ago, that a global nuclear war is not allowed because it would literally destroy this realm and rip through all of the other dimensions. It literally cannot happen because it would cause too much trouble.
I'm sorry, but I am just not falling for the World War III propaganda. Like, I'm sorry. Like, they've just been, you guys have been in wars. You guys have been doing war. So it's like, did it even stop? Did it even really stop after the World Wars? Because then we had what? We had the Cold War. Then we had Vietnam. Then we had like the stuff going on in the Middle East, like the Gulf War. Then we had Afghanistan, Iraq, like Russia and Ukraine have been going at it since forever. Israel and Gaza have been going at it since forever.
Guys, World War III will more than likely not happen. First and foremost, if World War III were to occur, it would be obviously with nuclear weapons. Nuclear weapons that are way bigger and a lot more deadly than Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And mind you, over 200,000 people died with those bombs. Those atomic bombs that were dropped back in 1945 are literally considered to be like baby bombs compared to what countries have today. So again, in the case that I guess there was a World War III, it would be over pretty quickly because, well, everyone would be dead very, very fast. And sure, all the rich politicians and just rich people in general, they have their little bunkers they can go to. But mind you, rich people like power. Politicians like power. And you can't have power if you don't have anybody to have power over. So then what would happen is that they would just eventually start turning onto each other. And yeah, and then eventually they would just die off one by one. And that would just be the end of the world. So no, World War III is more than likely not going to happen in the way that you think.
It's not the start of World War III. It's not Iraq 2.0. There is a risk of backfiring, and we should be honest about that. The question is it worth the risk? Of course, no one wants war, but you know what else no one wants? The Islamic Republic, which controls Iran, slaughtering tens of thousands of its own people. The Islamic Republic, which has been playing a game of nuclear poker with the world for 2 decades, bluffing for another 2. Hamas, which hurt both Palestinians and Israelis on October 7th, continuing to receive money and weapons from the Islamic Republic. There will never be peace in the Middle East while the Islamic Republic is in power. That's why almost every other country, Muslim and non-Muslim, Arab and non-Arab, wants them gone. And you know what happened when we fired at them this morning? They fired back at Jordan, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE. We fired at them. They fired missiles at their neighbors. But okay, we're thousands of miles away. Why does that concern us? It concerns us because China, which is competing with us whether we like it or not, props up the Islamic Republic with money in exchange for oil. It's our concern because there's been an anti-American axis at play for decades. And while we've been fighting each other, they've been fighting us. So let's talk about the risk. If you're scared of World War III with China and Russia, you needn't be. We already tested their alliance last June when we bombed Iran's nuclear facilities. China and Russia drew words, but not weapons. A year later, and they're doing the same thing because their relationship with Iran is transactional. And without them, Iran is weak. The bigger risk is Iraq 2.0. But Iran is not Iraq. Iraq is a third world country created by Britain and France whose people didn't want us there. Iran is a descendant of Persia, one of the most successful civilizations in history, with a sophisticated, capable, young population who wants a new government. And they've been asking for help. Let's be precise about the errors of Iraq. It wasn't that we struck, it's that we occupied. And we can choose not to do that here. We can support the Iranian people by air and by sea and leave the rest up to them. And that's the biggest risk. We're creating a power vacuum and we don't know who will fill it.
For the 27th time, we are not headed toward World War III. Despite what you may be seeing on TikTok and other social media platforms, we are not headed toward World War III. I made a video yesterday saying that China and Russia are not going to get involved. What I meant by that is China and Russia are not going to get involved militarily. Yes, there were reports out there that China sent a warship into the Middle East. This was prior to the United States and Israel striking Iran, but nothing has been confirmed. Yes, it's true. China and Russia have both condemned U.S. and Israel's actions, but other than giving words of support to Iran, they really haven't done much. If you really want to know, just do some quick research on Google. Google is free. In order for there to be a world war, all the world's major players will have to be involved, including Russia and China. What Russia does, especially with conflicts that don't directly involve them, they often take a wait-and-see approach. China, their true strength lies in their economic leverage, not with their military. And here's a map that's interesting to note. All the countries in green here support what the United States and Israel are doing right now in Iran. All the countries in red are against what the United States and Israel are doing in Iran. All the countries in blue tend to be very friendly to the United States and supportive. What's interesting to note are the countries in purple, including China. The countries in purple, including China and most notably Spain over here, they are against the U.S. and Israel strikes on Iran, but they're also against Iranian retaliation. Basically, China wants everybody to stop. Like I've said in previous videos, anything can happen. But right now, China and Russia, they're not getting involved. And if they're not getting involved, there's not going to be a World War III.
Listen, I know a lot of you guys are worried about this war. Trust me, I didn't want the disruption either, but we don't have anything to worry about. Have some faith in your country. The U.S. is the strongest. One thing that you have to know is it takes some money to go to war. You know we have like a $900 billion budget versus Iran, who has a $30 billion budget. Like, honestly, I'm expecting a first round knockout will be okay. We have 1.3 million troops, not including our reserves, versus their 580,000. Come on now, y'all. We're going to be all right.
This is a time that we really need to be praying. This is a time that we really need to be seeking God, asking for forgiveness so that it doesn't show up on our doorstep. Because I think America, we've caused a lot of pain to a lot of people. And because we've caused a lot of pain to a lot of people, we don't think that that same pain can come onto our country. We don't think that that same pain can hit us until it hits us.
You know, after I put this video together, something hit me. And I think it's unfair that I get to sit here, re-edit this video, fixing mistakes, taking my time in the comfort of my studio apartment, while there are people all over the world who are living every moment in complete and utter fear and terror. They're running for their lives. They're hiding under bombs. And I can't even imagine what they're going through. My heart goes out to anyone who is living that reality right now. And if I'm honest, I don't think any of us truly knows what the future holds, because we are living in truly unprecedented times. America is a melting pot with people from all over the world with many different beliefs. And I don't think any of us can say with certainty what tomorrow holds. And I don't think any of us truly feel safe no matter where we are in the world. And look, I promise I'm not here to preach about religion, but I'm just going to share what has been working for me in these times. On a spiritual level, lately I've been reading the Gospel of John. And what I find there isn't fear. Instead, it's light, it's hope, and it's peace. And I want to share just 2 verses. John 14:27, Yeshua says, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your heart be troubled, and do not be afraid." Later in John 15:17, Yeshua says something even simpler. "This is my command. Love each other." And I feel like that verse is incredibly relevant in this critical moment, because until we truly learn to love each other as human beings, until we learn to allow our humanity to lead us instead of our fear or division, I don't believe that we will ever get to live out the peace, the joy that was intended for us. But I do believe there is still light in this world. In fact, if you are watching this video right now, there's light within you. So you are proof of the light in the world. Because remember whose you are. And for anyone who's feeling overwhelmed, afraid, and uncertain about what is happening around us, you are not alone. And I encourage you to keep seeking out that light, because it's there. It's in you and it's around you. Keep seeking it. For me, I found it in the book of John. And this is just simply my spiritual offering from my heart. Thank you for watching my video. If you've made it this far, make sure you like it and share it if it was meaningful to you and informative. And comment below, please. I want to hear your thoughts. I want you guys to share some encouraging messages during this time. Messages of hope and messages of light. May God cover you and may God cover this world. Thank you.